Welcome to Strong Legends, daily sci-fi stories that fuel your mind. Subscribe and join the legend.
Admiral Solara Yaval stood on the bridge of the Ebon Star, her posture a study in controlled tension. The colossal dreadnought, a masterpiece of gravitic engineering and layered armor, was the pride of the Galactic Empire's outer rim fleet. Steel-gray panels gleamed beneath the ambient glow of control consoles, and the low hum of fusion reactors thrummed through the deck plating like a heartbeat. "Admiral, I'm still trying to reconcile these readings," Lieutenant Rowe said, fingers dancing over a holo display. His normally steady voice trembled. On the 3-meter-wide sensor array, a warp signature pulsed, a broad, irregular band of energy unlike any known human design. Solara leaned forward. "You read that as human?" Rowe swallowed. "Yes, ma'am. The energy frequencies match. The legendary Terran quantum pulse drives, but at a scale we thought impossible. It's a vessel over 5 times the length of a standard human battlecruiser, generating a warp field 2 orders of magnitude beyond census records." He stabbed at the display. "And there, subject's deceleration vector. It's heading straight for the galactic core." A collective gasp rippled through the bridge crew. The core was a nexus of commerce, politics, and military might. Any unannounced arrival there was tantamount to a declaration of war. "Double-check against the Empire's archives," Solara ordered. "Cross-reference every known human design, and scramble a long-range reconnaissance frigate, stealth profile. I want eyes on target within the hour." "As you command," Rowe replied, though his voice lingered on uncertainty. Solara's gaze drifted to the viewport, a canvas of stars streaking past as they maintained course to intercept. In the far distance, a pale blue orb, Tyria 4, marked the frontier of Imperial territory. Beyond it lay the uncharted expanse of human-influenced space, the legendary old worlds that the Empire had all but forgotten. Admiral, Solara's executive officer, Commander Hask, spoke from her station at the comm console. "High Command just transmitted. Identify the vessel immediately. If human, engage at will. Do not allow any breach of the core perimeter." She allowed herself a thin smile. The Empire's arrogance was staggering. To think that humanity, once no more than a fledgling colony on a backwater planet, could field a warship capable of challenging core defenses. But the readings didn't lie. "Very well," Solara said. "Signal Sector Command, Priority 1. Prepare the 8th and 9th battle groups for full deployment. Battle stations at 10 minutes, and Commander Hask, keep our message concise." Hask's eyes narrowed in understanding. "Yes, Admiral. State your purpose. Withdraw, or face obliteration." "Drafting now," Solara exhaled, fighting the urge to pace. Every instinct screamed that something unprecedented was unfolding. From beneath the deck, a slight tremor pulsed through the dreadnought's frame, the subtle signature of the human vessel's quantum field interacting with the Empire's subspace lattice. It was as if the very fabric of reality groaned under its proximity. Moments later, the intercom crackled. "Bridge," Hask said crisply. "They've acknowledged our hails. Voice channel open." A staccato of static resolved into a firm, unmistakably human voice, calm, measured, and brimming with authority. "Unidentified dreadnought of the Galactic Empire, this is Admiral Marcus Carter of the United Terran Commonwealth. You are trespassing in sovereign space. State your intention, or we will consider this an act of aggression." The bridge fell silent. Carter's accent was archaic, mid-21st century Earth, but his inflection carried centuries of defiance and tenacity. It echoed in Solara's mind. The same stubborn pride that once fueled humanity's rise from planetary scrabble to interstellar diplomacy. "Admiral Carter," Solara replied, her voice level, but edged with steel. "This is Admiral Solara Yaval of the Imperial Fleet. You are in violation of multiple core defense treaties. Withdraw immediately or you will be engaged." Carter's tone didn't waver. "You can't scare us with treaty threats. We've come a long way since ink and paper. If you fire, so be it." Silence stretched across the bridge like a blade, Solara studied the readouts. The human ship's hull integrity held at 100%, its shields at maximum efficiency. No visible weapon arrays, yet the energy signature hinted at something hidden and terrible. Behind her, the secondary screens flickered. Sector Command had dispatched 2 light cruisers. They would arrive in 10 minutes, but even twin heavy turbo lasers might not repel whatever monstrous power lay aboard that vessel. Status, Solara said quietly. Lieutenant Rowe's fingers flew. All consoles show quantum interference from their drive field. Our long-range scanners can't penetrate it. Only 100 kilometers of clear space before we close to engagement range. Solara's jaw clenched. Helm, slow us to 10%. Maintain a standoff distance of 200 clicks. Battle readiness condition 1. As the massive dreadnought's engines throttled down, Solara took a steadying breath. Somewhere beneath the taut tension lay the weight of destiny. If the humans truly commanded an engine that toyed with spacetime, the Empire's reign, built over 1,000 stellar cycles, could crumble in an instant. She straightened her shoulders. All hands, she announced, voice amplified over the deck speakers. Prepare for first contact. Remember, we fight not only for the Empire's survival, but for its honor. The bridge crew exchanged determined nods. Moments later, the stars behind the Phantom warship seemed to warp, edges bending as if space itself responded to an unseen hand. And at that instant, Admiral Solara Yval knew the galaxy had shifted irreversibly. The age of human ascendancy had begun. The crimson glow of the holosphere bathed the council chamber in an ominous light. Grand Vizier Taysin stood at the head of the curved table, robes swirling like liquid shadow around his boots. Around him, imperial nobles and military governors jostled for position, their jeweled epaulets tinkling as they whispered rumors and accusations. Taysin's voice cut through the din like a vibroblade. Report! Chancellor Valmore, seated to his right, cleared his throat. My lord, the reconnaissance frigate Aurora's Wraith confirmed the threat. A single human super dreadnought equipped with a quantum singularity drive. It decelerated to hover just beyond our core perimeter, emitting a subspace pulse that disrupted our sensor grid. A gasp rippled through the assembly. Governor Helix Donnard pounded the table. A single ship? Are we to believe that one vessel, one human vessel, can stand against a sector defense fleet? From the back, Admiral Vargos raised a gauntlet. It has. Our destroyer squadron, 5 battlecruisers, fired a full broadside at point-blank range. The pulse shattered our forward shields and caused catastrophic FTL distortions. 2 cruisers lost warp capability entirely. The others barely escaped. Silence fell. Even the crackle of the holosphere seemed muted. Taysin's eyes narrowed. Explain yourselves. How did Terran engineers breach the laws of quantum containment? Counselors exchanged uneasy glances. Among them whispers of ancient Terran myths. Rose. Tales of dark matter reactors. Of forbidden research during the old wars. Of scientists who vanished without a trace. If any were literal truths, the Empire's entire doctrine of superiority lay in ruins. Chancellor Valmore spoke again, voice taut. There are unconfirmed reports that after the Great Schism, human exiles united under the United Terran Commonwealth. They pooled resources, rediscovered lost research, perhaps even scavenged core archives. If so, they possess technology centuries beyond our own. Governor Donnard scoffed. Ridiculous. Humans are isolationists at best, scattered colonies eking out living under primitive craft. They lack the industrial capacity for a singularity drive. Admiral Vargos leaned forward, voice low but deadly earnest. Our intelligence intercepts show increased traffic on old Earth orbital yards. Transmissions in archaic English mention Project Genesis and Black Sun engine. Whether rumor or reality, we cannot ignore it. A hush fell once more. Taysin's fingers traced a rune-etched map of the core. Mobilize the 7th. Fleet to frontline defense. I want forward garrisons on full alert, and draft contingency plans for a preemptive strike, should diplomacy fail. He turned to face the holosphere's floating image of the human warship. Even in monochrome projection, its silhouette loomed massive, bow delicate yet menacing, midsection bristling with sensor arrays and quantum stabilizers, stern crowned by a ring of gravitic coils. It was artifice made monstrous. Counselor Saren, the Empire's chief archivist, cleared his throat. "If I may speak, Grand Vizier, humans have long dreamed of harnessing the void between stars. We have denied them, outlawed their science. Perhaps our very persecution drove them underground, forced innovation we never suspected." Tayson's steely gaze softened for a moment. "So we created our own nemesis. Excellent." He turned back to the council, voice rising. "Patriarchs and generals, hear me. We stand at a crossroads. Either we crush this rebellion in its infancy, or we acknowledge that the galaxy no longer bows to imperial will. And I, for one, will not preside over our downfall." Applause erupted, but it felt hollow. The Empire's unity, forged over millennia, trembled on a knife's edge. As governors and admirals departed to execute their orders, Tayson lingered, hand on the arm of his gilded chair. Outside, the Corps' bright stars winked indifferently. For all their power, the Empire's greatest strength, its fearlessness, had turned inward. Panic, once a foreign emotion in these halls, now pulsed like a heartbeat. And amid the turmoil, a single thought haunted every mind. What if humanity's rise was only just beginning? The Ebon Star shuddered under the impact, a guttural howl vibrating through her reinforced hull plating. Admiral Solara Yaval's boots thudded against the deck as she skidded toward the tactical console. Warning sirens blared in a harsh crescendo, and red hollow markers danced across the viewscreen, mapping fractures in the ship's energy shield. "Report!" Solara's voice cut through the chaos. Lieutenant Rowe's face was pale beneath the bluish glow of his station. "Ma'am, that was their subspace pulse. It wasn't kinetic or plasma, it's a quantum phase disruptor. It overloaded our shield matrix in milliseconds. We've suffered hull breaches in sections 4 through 9, including the aft sensor array." Commander Hask swiveled in her chair. "Life support's maintaining emergency seal protocols, but we've already lost 2 auxiliary corridors. Crew casualties are mounting." A tremor rattled the flooring again. Sparks showered from an overhead conduit as the Ebon Star listed slightly to port. On the viewscreen, the human dreadnought hung serenely, its hull unmarred, its bridge lights pulsing like a heartbeat. No visible turrets, no missile bays, yet it radiated menace. Solara steadied herself on the console edge. "Helm, maintain station. No return fire until they speak again. Weapons, power down to standby. We need every joule for shields and repairs. Open a direct comm channel." "Channel open, Admiral," Hask replied, voice tight. Static crackled. Then a calm, confident baritone filled the bridge. "Imperial Dreadnought Ebon Star. This is Admiral Marcus Carter of the United Terran Commonwealth. You have violated core treaty space and attacked my vessel without warning. Cease all hostile actions or I will demonstrate what comes next." Solara's throat went dry. She studied Carter's ship. The bow bore an intricate ring of gravitic coils throbbing with contained energy. The mid-hull shimmered in and out of phase, as though reality itself bent around it. Behind Carter's voice lay centuries of human defiance, of humanity's ascension from planetary squabbles to interstellar warfare. "Admiral Carter," Solara replied, forcing steel into her tone. "The Empire does not take kindly to trespassers firing on its ships. Withdraw now, or I will be forced to respond with lethal force." Carter's laughter was soft but laced, with warning. "You'd kill me? All right, Admiral, engage then, but know that every shot you fire at us will come back tenfold." Before Solara could respond, the deck shook again, this time more violently. Down the corridor, alarms blared. As bulkheads sealed, reports flooded in. Entire weapons platforms knocked offline, fusion conduits destabilizing. "Status of forward batteries?" Solara demanded. Lieutenant Rowe's fingers flew. "We're at 20% capacity. Any further discharge will risk a reactor breach." Her jaw clenched. To fight back meant certain suicide. To surrender meant handing the galaxy's greatest prize, the galactic core, to a band of exiled humans. In the silence that followed, Solara made her choice. All stations, initiate controlled retreat to 200 clicks. Divert all remaining power to structural integrity fields. And mark my words, Admiral Carter, the Empire never forgets an insult. As the Aban star reversed its drift, the human ship's pulse field receded like a tide, and Carter's voice faded into the static. The dreadnought glowed one final time before dropping out of warp, and Solara realized with cold clarity that this was no mere skirmish. It was the opening salvo of a war that would reshape the galaxy, and humanity had already seized the first advantage. Deep within the bowels of the United Terran Commonwealth Super Dreadnought Resolute, a cadre of engineers and physicists choreographed the flow of reality itself. In the quantum engineering chamber, banks of dark matter containment fields pulsed in rhythmic harmony, while ornate conduits of phase-stabilized titanium guided streams of exotic particles into the ship's singularity reactor. Dr. Elise Nakamura, chief architect of the Black Sun engine, watched the readouts with a mixture of awe and dread. Containment at 98%, her assistant intoned. Particle flux stable. Proceed to full charge. Nakamura nodded. A single miscalculation here would collapse the reactor's event horizon, obliterating the ship from within. Divert 10% to the auxiliary coil array. We need maximum field sustainment. Outside the chamber's reinforced doors, behind layers of gravitic shielding, Admiral Marcus Carter stood on the Resolute's observation deck, arms crossed. Through the transparent alloy viewport, he watched the distant coordinates of the jury-rigged Moon Themis Gamma shimmer as the singularity drive engaged. "Ready the targeting matrix," Carter ordered. His second-in-command, Commander Lydia Zhao, tapped at a hollow interface. "Primary vector locked. Micro-singularity yield tuned to sub-cataclysmic levels. Verification in 3, 2, 1. The chamber bank exploded in a sapphire flare as the cannon discharged. A braided beam of compressed space-time lanced outward, carving a tunnel through vacuum. It struck Themis Gamma like a divine scalpel. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then the moon's core imploded inward, folding into itself. Shock waves rippled through the void, but the outer crust held intact, leaving a hollowed husk that spun like a broken geode. On the Ebon Star, 200 kilometers away, Imperial sensors recorded the event in stunned silence. Grand Vizier Tayson's personal viewing station in the core council chamber flickered as the transmission arrived. The holosphere showed the moon's implosion, cracks racing across its surface from pole to pole. Tayson's lip curled. They dare annihilate a celestial body with precision and restraint. Around him, military governors clenched their fists. Governor Helix Donard muttered, "We can't match that firepower." Admiral Vargos, voice tight, added, "Our heaviest stun lances wouldn't dent a planetary core, let alone fold it." Back aboard the Ebon Star, Admiral Solara Yaval watched the moon's aftermath fade from her tactical viewport. Even from this distance, the shockwave rattled her ship's inertial dampeners. She turned to her bridge crew, face pale but resolute. "They've weaponized gravity itself," she whispered. "Folded space on a planetary scale. Our strategies, every doctrine, needs rewriting." Lieutenant Rowe swallowed. "Their tech, it's not just advanced, it's fundamentally different physics. There's no precedent in our archives." Commander Hask stared at the flickering tactical map. "Imperial, High Command will demand retaliation, but how? With what?" Silence answered them, heavier than any threat. Humanity, long dismissed as an upstart fringe species, had unveiled a secret that punched holes through the Empire's cosmic arrogance. In the void beyond, the Resolute powered down its singularity drive. Carter returned to the observation deck, eyes distant. "They'll recover," he said quietly. "But now they know the price of aggression." Nakamura emerged, expression solemn. "Are you certain this demonstration was wise?" He met her gaze. "We needed the Empire to understand we do not bluff. Now our negotiations begin from a position of undeniable strength." As they departed, the hollowed moon spun alone in darkness, a mute testament to humanity's ascendancy, and the harbinger of an age when the very fabric of space could be wielded as a weapon. The galaxy would never be the same. The council chamber on Corin Prime thrummed with muted urgency. Hollow screens displayed the scarred silhouette of Themis Gamma, now a hollow husk drifting in the void, human power on full display. Grand Vizier Tayson, flanked by Chancellor Valmore, and Admiral Vargos presided over the emergency summit, faces drawn and voices low. Human terms, Tayson began, voice cold. They demand recognition of their sovereign zone, 50 light-years of free passage around Old Earth, and joint oversight of any core Commonwealth border disputes. His gloved hand hovered over a datapad. Is this acceptable? Silence. Even the most hardened governors bristled at ceding territory, yet the memory of Themis Gamma's implosion weighed heavy. Governor Helix Donnard finally spoke, voice strained. They've shown us what they can do. Any resistance outside their zone risks planetary annihilation. We must negotiate. Admiral Vargos leaned forward. We fight only if compelled. Better to preserve the Empire's fleet and lives than cling to hollow pride. Tayson nodded, eyes steely. So be it. Draft the treaty. The United Terran Commonwealth gains official recognition. We grant scientific exchange under strict oversight. In return, they withdraw their dreadnoughts to the neutral zone. On the battered deck of the Ebon Star, Admiral Solara Yaval stood before her weary crew. Hull plating had been reforged, shield coils rewired, and the dreadnought, once a symbol of unchallenged might, bore every scar of its clash with humanity. Today, Solara addressed her officers, we step into a new era. We'll escort the human fleet to the agreed boundary, then resume patrols under the new joint protocols. She paused, voice softening. I know many of you see this as capitulation, but it isn't weakness, it's wisdom. The galaxy has changed. We adapt, or we become relics. Her words drew quiet nods. Among them, Lieutenant Rowe regarded the viewport, where distant warships glimmered like scattered seeds of an uncertain future. Weeks later, on the mist-shrouded terraces of New Nova City, Admiral Carter and Grand Vizier Tayson met in person. The skyline of gleaming spires and floating gardens framed their gathering, an oasis of calm in a galaxy on the brink. Carter extended a hand. Grand Vizier Tayson, it's a beginning. Tayson clasped it firmly. A new chapter, forged not in conquest but in caution and respect. They signed the Treaty of Corin Prime beneath crystalline arches. Banners of the Empire and the Commonwealth fluttered side by side, a visual testament to fragile peace. Months passed. Joint research stations charted unknown star systems. Imperial and Terran scientists worked side by side on quantum gravitic arrays. And for the first time since the old wars, knowledge flowed freely. Trade convoys pulse-jumped through the neutral zone, carrying foods, art, music, cultural ambassadorship, in place of diplomatic envoys. Yet as peace settled, a new question lingered among both peoples. If humanity could master the fabric of space, what other mysteries remained? In a quiet corridor aboard the Resolute, Dr. Elise Nakamura pondered the next horizon. The Black Sun engine lay dormant in its cradle, awaiting further study. She tapped her comlink. Admiral Carter, I'm ready to discuss Project Horizon, the Wormhole Array Blueprint. Carter's voice crackled with anticipation. Meet me on the observation deck. He gazed out at the tapestry of stars, some newly charted, others long familiar. Humanity's reach has only begun, he murmured. Nakamura joined him, eyes shining. And the Empire stands with us, not against. Below, the neutral zone stretched vast and unclaimed, a testament to what fear and respect had forged. The galaxy watched and waited for the next leap. In that moment, two once warring civilizations stood united on the threshold of wonders yet unseen, bound by treaties, and by the knowledge that the true power of sentient beings lay not in domination, but in discovery together.